Hey guys, it's Kelly here again and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another bookish related video. Today I have a few short books that I'm going to share with you that I personally think are worth the read. If you're a little bit like me and you get intimidated by big books, these are all under 200 pages, so they're all great if you just want to have something quick to read, or if you want to dip your toes into a certain genre that you don't necessarily read, or also if you just want to read more books in terms of quantity for a reading challenge or something else that you might have in mind. But these are personally some of my favorites and things and books that I think are worth the read, and they are all very short. They're not a big commitment, so I would definitely recommend you give them a shot, even if it doesn't sound like something you would typically read. The first couple of ones are sci-fi because that is the main thing that I read. I read mostly sci-fi and fantasy, so the first three are sci-fi and the rest have a little bit of sci-fi sprinkled in, but hear me out. I think you're gonna enjoy them. The first one that I have is one that I heard about here on BookTube, and I heard it from Book Roast, and I read this book almost immediately after I heard her opinion about it and what it was about. So I have mentioned this before. It became one of my favorite books of the year that I read it, and still one of my favorite books to date. It is Genesis by Bernard Beckett, and this is the Bulgarian edition. And this book is, I'm gonna tell you how many pages, at least the Bulgarian one. So it's 130 pages, and the English version is 150 pages. So in both cases, it's under 200 pages. It's going to be hard to explain this book without spoiling it, so I'm just gonna say that it's kind of a philosophical debate between a human and a robot about human existence and human life, and basically what makes us human. So it's very interesting and very unique in my opinion. If that's something that you find yourself thinking about, or if it's something that you find interesting, I definitely recommend this. It's also very easy to read in terms of sci-fi. It's not tech heavy, it's not alien heavy or anything like that. So it's mostly just a philosophical talk that's delivered in a very unique way. Next one I have is called The Test by Sylviane Nouvelle, and it is 108 pages. I listened to it as an audiobook, so I don't have the physical one with me, but this one is a dystopian sci-fi world where there's a problem with overpopulation, and therefore there's a lot of immigration. So we follow this immigrant who is trying to settle in the UK with his family, and for him to start his new life in this new country, he has to take a citizenship test, and basically we follow him throughout his experience on the test. As I mentioned, this is another sci-fi, but it's a very light sci-fi, so don't be discouraged by that. I can't say much more because I will end up spoiling it, but it's definitely very unique and very interesting, and I would recommend you check it out. The next one I have is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is a short book. Well, of course, all of these are short books, but this one is part of a series, and the series is the Murderbot Diaries, and it follows, well, Murderbot. This security unit has hacked his own government module, and he is trying to just keep under the radar so they don't catch him and they don't reprogram him, and basically all he wants to do is just be left alone, not have to deal with humans, and watch his TV shows. There's a few books in the series. I think there are 4 at this point, and they're very quick to read. The first one in particular, at least the edition that I have, is 149 pages. So if you want to check it out, I would definitely recommend. It's not as light in terms of sci-fi, so it is more for the people who read more sci-fi, but I still think that even if you don't read, this might be fun for you. Next one I have is called If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura. So this one has 201 pages, so it doesn't technically fit my prompt list, but on Goodreads, apparently a different edition has 176 pages, so I'm just gonna let it slide. I hope you guys do too. This is a Japanese story about a man who has to die, basically. So the devil comes to him the day before he has to die, and they strike up a deal. For each day extra that he gets to live, something in the world needs to disappear. This was a very unique, again, book, and I feel like it's definitely something that you should go into kind of blind, because I can tell you what happens, but I don't want to spoil it. I want you to experience it on your own. Keep in mind that, you know, in Japanese literature, it's, I think, not for completely everybody, but I personally really loved this one, and the addition of cats and the thoughts for cats were really nice. I really liked them, and if you're a cat lover, I think this one will be interesting to you. Next up, I have Every Heart Adore by Shannon Maguire, and this one has 179. This one is the Bulgarian edition. I believe the English edition had 173. Something along those lines, still under 200, and it tells a story about kids who have traveled to magical worlds but have ended up finding their way back home. And we follow a few characters that are in this group home that is supposed to help them deal with adjusting to regular life, and just their parents basically wanting them to forget about what they saw, or thinking that they have some kind of trauma and they want them to get better. So these are also short book series, and there's a few, they follow different characters. I recently read this one, soon I will read the second one as well. I enjoyed it a bit. It was a 3-star for me, but I still quite enjoy it. This is a bit more towards the, I don't want to say middle grade, because there are some topics discussed that are not exactly middle grade, but it is a bit on the younger side, so maybe if you're in high school you would really enjoy this one. And the last one is Every Day the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Fredrik Backman, and this one is a very short novella. It's 97 pages, and it basically follows a grandfather and his grandson, and we follow the grandfather as he is losing his memories and trying to grasp everything in his life that has some kind of meaning for him. This one was heartwarming and heart-wrenching at the same time. It's very uniquely described. The whole situation was just interesting to read, and it makes you think and it makes you feel, and it doesn't have any magical elements, but I still think that you might enjoy it a lot, so I would definitely recommend it. So that's it for my short books that I think are worth the read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought of them, or if you have other short book recommendations, leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe if you like what you see and would like to see more. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!